It's time to take command with former NFL tight end Logan Paulsen and former Commanders beat reporter Craig Hoffman.
Take 5, the 5-ish minute version of Take Command. That is Logan Paulsen. I am Craig Hoffman. Bills coming to town this week. So, Logan, let's tell some Buffalo stories. I got one from my years on the beat. You got one from your years playing tight end in the league. And if the preview that you gave me is correct, this actually is one from you on the. You weren't actually involved in the play. No. You were just on the sideline, but it was a critical moment in Washington football history.
It was a critical moment, and it's a critical moment for this individual. So, like, it's about Alfred Morris, and Alfred Morris was, it was 2012, and he was an undrafted free or 6th-round pick, and he had come into practice, and everyone was talking about, what's he gonna do, what's he gonna be, and I always liked Alfred because he'd he in walkthrough he'd have his cleats on, which was optional, and he'd literally be running full speed. So you always like guys like that, but he wasn't super dynamic. He'd you throw him the football, and he'd clap his hands together and the ball would fall through, and you're like, what's this guy going to be as a rusher in the NFL? But slowly, Bobby Turner moved him up the depth chart. We got our first preseason game against the Buffalo Bills. And I'm on the sideline, doing my stretches, making sure I'm nice and warm. And I'm like, what is Alfred going to do in this game? Which I think he was starting, or if he wasn't starting, he was in the 2-back rotation. And it's his first carry. And it's an outside zone to the left, and it's blocked up pretty good. And there's a linebacker directly in the hole right in front of him. And he puts his head down on this man and buckles the dude to his knees, straight to his knees, and runs straight over him in a way that I had not seen somebody do in the NFL. It was such a clean contact. And Alfred didn't stop his feet. It was like a dune buggy going over a speed bump. Boom, boom. And he rushed off for 15 yards. And it was just crazy to see the moment you knew someone could play in the NFL, and then the moment you knew they were going to be pretty good. After not seeing really anything in training camp that was wow, literally his first carry or second carry of the game was so demonstrative. And I remember being in the film room in the game after, and Kyle being kind of under his breath, this is going to be a player. You know what I mean? That was kind of everyone's reaction to it. And it was just cool to see that's my arrival to the Washington Commanders or the Washington football team. And then 3 years of very productive football from a guy who was a 6th-round draft pick was pretty spectacular, I thought.
That's awesome. That's a great story. Because there are those guys in preseason where it just doesn't training camp ain't for them. They're never going to shine. Yeah. All of a sudden you get to full contact and
it was ball game. It was crazy. And then obviously watching him run for the rest of the year, that's how he ran. He was just
I think he had 1,400 yards that year.
Physical dude, yeah, and a little bit of that scheme or whatever, but couldn't have happened to a better guy. And again, I you love him because he's such a nice dude. He works so hard, but to see it just pop off immediately the first play, it was pretty spectacular. So
that's great. My Buffalo story is a bit more personal. Our guy Lorenzo Alexander, who obviously was here forever. Family to me for sure. He's super tight with my guy Chris Gorez, and so I've gotten to know Zoe real well over the years. And I would work out with him when Chris would work him out in the off season. I'd be the poor sucker just running around trying to do an NFL wide receiver impression or whatever to give Zoe. Oh yeah, no, I would work out with Zoe on the field just to be another body. I wasn't good at it. Zoe played a little slow to start the year. Sorry to the Bills fans because he was out there covering me. Or I would have to play quarterback and just run away from him so he could practice
a rush angle. Is that seriously what you guys would do?
Yeah, some of the stuff. Wow, it was more it's speed and agility work. It's not actual it's not like Chris is out there coaching him up, but it's just to get the movement right.
That's really interesting. This is my strength coach nerd, but that's a really cool prep because you don't do that a lot in off-season conditioning, and having someone that can help you with that's pretty cool. So
to use the track and field term, I was the rabbit.
Yes, there you go.
I was just out there to be chased. And let me tell you, when Lorenzo Alexander, even though he's not going to hit you and he's not wearing pads, and neither are you, when he's running at you, you want to run away from the pocket as fast as you can. But that's a different story.
It's crazy because this is a little bit, this is going to be longer than 5 minutes. I got a Zoe story. So the thing about Zoe that was always crazy is we had a coach from Dallas come to our staff, and Zoe was still on the roster. And he goes, dudes were so afraid to block him. They would get hamstring, special teams guys who were the toughest dudes ever would be I'm not playing this week because Lorenzo Alexander's out there. And you got to do that with him every single day. So look at you. being all tough
There we
out there,
go.
Greg. Yeah, sorry.
Love it. I don't know if that was tough, but whatever. But so the night, just grade A plus human being, and so we're in Buffalo for the game, 20, whatever it was. I think it was 2019. Which, like, I know it's at that point, it's probably his last season. I don't know that the world at large knew that that was going to be his last season. I didn't know at that point it was going to be my last season on the beat either. But afterwards, we went and got dinner at this like local Italian restaurant where apparently a bunch of the Bills players all go after the game. Like they know to expect them. They put him back in a nice big private room, and it was cool because it's the kind of thing that as a reporter, like, I'm never getting invited to that room. I guess like there's some guys and women around the league that are reporters that like go to that room for a story where they're there to be a part, like to kind of gather information for the story, but everyone's like seeing them as a reporter. I wasn't there as a reporter. I was there as Zoe's friend. And so it was cool because, all of a sudden Josh Allen walks in and Dawson Knox walks in, and they have no idea, obviously, remotely who I am. And that like, hey, be on your best behavior. There's a member of the media here. And obviously, if something weird had happened, I wouldn't be telling the story because I was not there as a reporter. But like those dudes were all just a great dudes. Like just you could see the way they interacted with each other. You could see the way that they, said hi to Zoe's family and introduced themselves to me. And it was really cool. And like you saw a young group at that time, and this is 5 years ago, or 4 years ago, like Josh Allen and Dawson Knox and a lot of guys that are still there. Just this is how they lived. Like after the game, they got together like one big family, and Zoe's actually there with his gigantic family. His 4 kids and his wife, and I think an aunt and uncle or someone was there, and so we kind of had our own table in the room with the other like long table full of Bills players. But it was really, really great to just kind of see that and the atmosphere after the game and how everybody was able to come together and that family like atmosphere of a team coming together. And that was kind of at the start of the Bills being really good as Josh Allen was starting to emerge. So I'll always remember that and think highly of those guys, just the
cool
way they interacted with each other. And seeing that was pretty cool, and always appreciate Zoe bringing me wherever I got to go with him, whether it was football field or an Italian restaurant somewhere in the suburbs of Buffalo. All right, that's it for Take 5 Storytime Thursdays. We'll see you tomorrow for a preview of the 2023 Bills and their matchup, of course, with the Commanders. Subscribe to the pod in between now and then, and we'll see you then on Take Command. Thanks for watching this clip of Take Command. First, why don't you like it? It lets other people know that it was good, and then they should watch it too. And Logan, we have a new exclusive home for full episodes.
We do. 1067 The Fans YouTube page. Go check it out and please subscribe.
Yeah, do what Logan said.
Do it.
Very, very smart.